How's everyone doing today? It's your boy JJ Domination, and today we're here to talk about the CBA, the Collective Bargaining Agreement. It finally went through, and it's changed, baby. The voting, I don't remember the exact voting numbers. I think it might have been like 1,019 to like 950 something, but basically percentage-wise, it was 51.5% yes and 48.5% no. So this was pretty much a split decision when it came to the new CBA voting, and this is what we have now. So for the new CBA, these are the five major selling points on what is going to be included. Of course, a 17-game regular season that is going to be effective in 2021, so it's not going to be a part of an immediate change, but one that will happen the following season. Player revenue share is expected to rise from 47% to 48.5%. So there's that for people who are into the revenue share. 14 teams will make the playoffs, only one bye week, or only one bye per conference starting this year in 2020-2021 NFL season. The league minimum, the salary for the league minimum has gone up 100,000. So whatever it was before, your new league minimum contract is whatever the old amount used to be plus 100K. And then finally, the last one, and this is a pretty big one, players no longer suspended for positive marijuana tests. So you can smoke pot and not get in trouble for it. Somebody pinch Josh Gordon because it's not real in his mind. But here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and just break everything down. The player revenue share going up, that's cool. I think it needs to go up anyway. If you're going to add more games and stuff, you might as well. You know what I'm saying? Let's see, the 17-game regular season, again, it could be good. It's another week of football. It's another week of content. Maybe they could flirt around with the idea of adding a neutral site game for everyone on the schedule. Maybe, like, I heard like some people at CBS Sports kind of speculating like, oh, you could have some neutral site games between outer conference teams or outer division teams. So that could be something. But 17 games basically, unless you go 8-1, I don't really think there can be a 500 team anymore, either above or below 500. So that kind of helps with things a little bit, I guess. The 14-team playoffs. Now, this is the part that I really want to talk about the most. I like it. I really do like it. I know some people aren't really a big fan of it, and I guess I understand why, because you're kind of obligating to adding another team to the playoff mix, but I'll explain more why I like it, I guess. For me, because only the number one seed gets a bye throughout the playoffs in the wild card round, it makes getting the number one seed feel even more important and even more prestigious than it ever did before. Like, getting the one seed felt important, but it was like, well, if I get the 2 seed, I also get that extra week of preparation. Well, in this case, no. If you're the 1 seed, then you get the privilege of having a week without having to play anyone. So even if you get the 2 seed, it's like, well, I have to go play the 7 seed. And who knows, maybe the 7 seed ends up being a team that backdoors their way into the playoffs and has a ton of momentum. Meanwhile, you're just kind of scrapping. You failed to get the 1 seed, and you get upset by a 7 seed, which could happen. I see some people are kind of upset about it. Like, I know Marcus Whitman, aka TFG, I know he kind of doesn't like it, and he was kind of talking about how in, like the NBA, how they have like a 7-game series. The problem is you can't do a 7-game series in the NFL. You just can't. What makes the NFL and March Madness so special is the fact that you have to put it all on the line for that game. There is no 7-game series. There is no scheming up over the course of like 2.5 weeks. Nah, you got to bring your A game that week, and it better be enough to beat whoever you're facing. If you're that good, you should be able to just get the job done then and there, no questions asked, no 2.5 weeks, 7 games to prepare for somebody. You better be on your shit immediately if you want to move on to the next round. And I like that. That's what makes March Madness so special. That's why we see these quote-unquote Cinderella stories. That's why we see teams like Loyola Chicago a couple years ago go on the magical run they're able to go on, getting into the Elite Eight. Did they make it to the Final Four? I don't remember, but I jokingly picked them to go to the Sweet 16, and they did, and somehow exceeded that. I remember doing that bracket. That was actually crazy. I kind of undersold them, even though I jokingly picked them to go as far as they did. But, you know, that's what makes it so unique. I know, like, a big example is the Tennessee Titans this past year. The Titans were the 6th seed, of course. They beat the New England Patriots, who were the 3 seed during Wild Card Weekend, and they beat the number 1 seeded Baltimore Ravens in the postseason. And sometimes that's what it takes. That is the kind of run that a lower seed can go on that just makes the NFL that more exciting. Sure, on paper, New England and Baltimore should be able to smack Tennessee, but Tennessee not only has momentum, but in terms of just the matchup, they match up pretty well to those two teams, better than maybe Kansas City would have. And I think, or a team like Houston or Buffalo, and I think that's what makes it interesting, is the fact that it's one game, single elimination. There is no best of 7 series where you lose game 1, it's like, well, it's okay because we got like 4 games that we could win consecutively to move on. It's no, you bring it all that you have. You bring all that you have in that one game, make or break, you put it on the line, you better get the job done. To me, that is what makes the NFL and March Madness so special. Like, in the NBA, personally, why do we need 7 games between the number 1 and the number 8 seed? History has shown us that the number 1 seed can make easy work of the number 8 seed. So why do we even have 7 games for that? That should be like a 3-game series. And if you win games 1 and 2, you move on. And then the second round, honestly, should be anywhere between 3 and 5 games. It shouldn't be a 7-game series either. And then the conference finals should be 5 games. And then only the NBA finals should be 7. That's just my personal opinion. But in the NFL, I like it the way it is. I don't like the overtime rule, you know, just saying. I don't like it. They definitely need to change it. I'm surprised it did not get changed this offseason. But in terms of like the 2 seed playing the 7 seed, you know, the fact that you could have a whole division get into the playoffs, I think it's kind of cool. And I think it could definitely make the postseason more interesting. You're adding another wild card game per conference, essentially. And the 1 seed, of course, would still have to play the lower seed. So being the 1 seed will feel more prestigious because they're the only team per conference that will get a bye week. There is no number 2 seeds barely making it. Like, phew, we can get a bye. That changes things drastically because a team like New England, who, let's face it, they benefit from getting a first-round bye in all of their playoff runs and all of their playoff successes. You look at how their path to the Super Bowl is laid out, they had a bye week every time. Well, if the Patriots get the 2 seed this time around, guess what? No bye week. Your ass is playing the 7 seed. And whether you're that much better than them or not, it doesn't matter. You're not getting a week to rest. You have to actually game plan for the 7 seed, which last year, the 7 seed in the AFC would have been the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know the Patriots got the 3 seed, so they'd still have to play Tennessee. That wouldn't matter. But you look with the Green Bay Packers. You know, my Green Bay Packers got the 2 seed. They would have had to face the 7 seeded Los Angeles Rams, and maybe, who knows, maybe the Rams do upset them. Maybe they don't. But the thing is, we'll be able to know. We'll be able to find out. Maybe these 7 seeded teams can go on a magical Cinderella run. And I know that I've been rambling on about this portion of the CBA, but to me, I like it. I'm fascinated by it, to tell you the truth. And finally, of course, like, the players no longer being suspended for positive marijuana tests. Good. It's legal in some states, and eventually it'll get to the point where it's legal in pretty much every state in the United States. You know, just at this point, like, and I thought this was an interesting point I heard from Marcus Whitman as well in his video. Maybe if players do regularly smoke that, ganja. If players do regularly smoke weed, maybe teams like Denver or Seattle becomes more appealing, or Detroit, where it's actually legal to smoke marijuana. Like, I'm not saying that would be the, only reason they would want to go there, but that could now play a part in free agency. You never know. That could actually determine where free agents go, as crazy as that may sound. But also another thing that I'm interested in, players who used to be suspended regularly for violation of, the marijuana or whatever, will they be able to be reinstated? And number two, will they be able to at least work out for teams? If they don't get signed, it's whatever. But will they at least have the fair opportunity to work out? Like, you look at guys like Josh Gordon, who, of course, let's be honest, got like a million chances and still screwed it up for himself. But you look at guys like Randy Gregory, who that's kind of been the thing about him, is he's always been suspended for substance, the policy for substance or whatever. He's always catching those suspensions. Well, Gregory, who, let's face it, was a very talented player coming out of Nebraska, what if he gets a shot to work out for the Dallas Cowboys again? And the Cowboys are like, all right, we're going to bring you back on. This thing is legal. Hey, just don't get in trouble with the law, but if you're going to smoke, make sure you don't get in trouble with the law. Which Randy Gregory, maybe he has, I don't know. I don't want to put that on him. Maybe he has gotten in trouble with the law, but I don't know for certain. But then you got players like Justin Blackmon, who years ago, that was kind of a big issue with him, was being suspended for the substance abuse policy, marijuana, and all that. Will he get a chance to make an NFL comeback? I mean, these are serious questions you have to ask yourself, because these are all guys who, that's kind of the stigma. They were the guys that smoked weed in the NFL. Well, they can possibly get an opportunity to be reinstated and get a workout with some teams going and get your name back out there on the free agency market. Free agency pretty much starts tomorrow, the tampering process, but nothing's really official until Wednesday. So that's good to hear that, like, based on everything going on in the country with the virus or whatever, like, that's dope that the NFL is going to try to stay on schedule. The draft could be affected by all of this. They might have to make it a smaller venue or postpone it or do something different, maybe do it without a crowd. But yeah, that's definitely going to be affected. But in terms of free agency, I'm glad that the show is going to go on. It's content that we can cover on the channel. There are some things that did happen today as of recording this. Of course, like Calais Campbell getting traded to the Baltimore Ravens. And then, of course, Tannehill signing that massive contract, which I'm going to keep it a buck. If it were a 2-year deal, I would not have an issue with it. But a 4-year deal making more money than Kirk Cousins, like, I don't know how to feel about that. But we'll cover that in a different video. Maybe we'll cover that tomorrow during the tampering process for certain free agents. I think this is the part where unrestricted free agents can, like, verbally commit or speak with other teams. So it'll be interesting. I'm a Packer fan. I'm sure y'all know that. We do have some decent, amount of cap space to play around with. I'm hoping we can go after a veteran linebacker for our defense, a middle linebacker that being, and maybe looking at a tight end. Not that it's the biggest need, but I wouldn't mind looking into the free agent market at tight end. You got guys like Austin Hooper, Eric Ebron, or you could take a flyer on a guy like Delaney Walker, who, yes, he does have an injury history, but shoot, when he's on the field, he's really good, and I think people forget that. But hopefully you guys enjoy. Let me know how you guys feel down below in the comment section about the new CBA. Are you excited for free agency? I know right now we're in the dark days when it comes to no live sports on our television, but hopefully, with YouTube content and whatnot, hopefully we can just have some fun, and I can at least lighten up the mood a little bit by doing these videos. And hopefully you guys go out there and support your favorite YouTubers and go watch their videos, man, because it is a tough time. They are isolated, having to come up with some content. So go out there and support your favorite YouTubers, man. Drop a like on all of their videos, not just mine, but just go drop a like on all your favorite YouTubers' videos. And peace out, man. Peace out. Stay safe.